Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and let's talk about the Nvidia Super. They had an announcement here at CES. They went into some AI and some other stuff, but we're going to really focus on and only talk about the Super part of this. So we have the 4070 Super, the 4070 Ti Super, and the 4080 Super, all announced, all going to be released here. 4070 Super, which is January 17th at $599. 4070 Ti is January 24th at $799. And then the 4080 Super is going to be January 31st at $999. The 4070 Ti and the 4080, they will be going away. They'll be phased out, which kind of makes sense, right? You're dropping that 4080 Super down to 1,000, so what is it, $300 lower, or 12, something like that. And then $200, some place in there. And then your 4070 Ti, the Super is gonna, just take over that anyways. You're going to still have the 4070, and that is right now at about a 550 price on the market. If you see, I could $50 more if you're in that price range. Might as well go get the 4070 Super. But that's kind of if all these prices stay where they're at, right? Nvidia here is coming in at that 7900 XTX and 7900 XT. They're trying to go after those markets. AMD kind of already has that price of the 7900 XT. I've seen it as low as like 600 and what was it, $30. So does AMD do something like that? I'm sure that they're testing prices here to see where they're going to line up. Will we see an official announcement from AMD? I doubt it. But if I was AMD, at some point I would make sure that I'm, a little bit that 7900 XTX. I'd probably come in with that about, I'd say $899. That's where I would probably put that card. If I was wishing for things, I wish for that, be a lot lower. But just on how some of these stuff is slotting up here, to be able to do that and have some little competition there, because um, at that $1,000 price, I'm sure people would probably just go to the 4080, even if the 7900 XTX beats the 4080 Super. And we'll know about numbers here once these cards start releasing. So, 17th, 24th, 31st. Granted, NVIDIA is launching them all this month, but I'm sure that each week there's going to be different tests or different, reviews of that, knowing AMD to keep their card in the market each and every time. That's what I would do as well. Um, with that, this is, NVIDIA with the supercards, right? A little bit more, shader cores. They have that. They also had some adjustments on the memory as well. You get a little bump there. I think the 4070 Super actually went up from the 4070 Ti Super. That went up to 16 gigs if I recall. And so you have some of those little upgrades there. I think that they're going to be, if you're looking for a graphics card, right, you're probably NVIDIA's next generation is what, maybe Q4 this year, if not early next year, so you're a year out. If you're in the market for a graphics card and you're not looking at the used market, right, here's some new ones that NVIDIA is kind of refreshing. And they're just kind of making their stack. You can kind of see, from my perspective, they're like, hey, we didn't sell everything we needed to, and they didn't sell as well. So we're dropping that 4080 Super, from 1,200 to 1,000, so $200 lower. That 4070 Super is, so that 4070 Ti and the 4070 Ti Super looks to probably be selling in the same, that was selling good enough, so they kept the price the same. And the 4070, Super, I think they're trying to fill in that gap a little bit more. And the 4070 is still around. I'm guessing that's got, I don't know how they're going to position that with the 4060 at 450 still, and then you got 550 for the 4070, and then you have 4070 Super at 600. You're $50 increments, which is fine, but then you go from 599 to 7099 on the 4070 Ti Super. You have a $200 jump, so that's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if that 4070 Super actually gets driven up a little bit. But, overall with Nvidia's announcement here, it's not shocking because we've all seen it, right? It was rumored around for a while. These super cards are coming in. You're getting a little bit more performance, Nvidia's kind of trying to get to the edge, a refresh, get their name back in. You're a year out on roughly on that next generation GPU. So let's get our name out there. I don't know if AMD will do anything or if they will, rev their cards at all. I think AMD as a whole just needs to put their heads down and start grinding on the next generation Radeon cards. Even if they're not going to be a top of the line card, just get in there. I think they have to just create we're getting out cards, we're going to get them out, and we're just create momentum at this point. I think that's where AMD kind of needs to focus, right? Their CPU division is creating that momentum. We'll get into that a little bit. Nvidia has the momentum right there with AI and everything else. And, the, as much as I like these cards to be cheaper, right? I really enjoy these cards to be cheaper, but I think Nvidia is going to sell quite a bit of them, and that's just how it is right now. They have an increase of their cars to get a little bit more competitive, and this is the result. So uh, that's how it's going. And unless AMD comes out with some cheaper prices, I think that there is going to be just kind of this is how pricing is going to sit for a while until maybe the next generation. And yeah, it's unfortunate if you wanted cheaper cards, but we saw SSD prices kind of increase here right around when January 1st. GPU prices are kind of stuck here. I don't know if that's just supply chain or what else it is, but where Nvidia adjusted the price was the one card that wasn't selling well, and their release is kind of they want to introduce and get some of those. It seems like they want the 70 cards to sell, and then follow it up with the 80 cards at the end, in the 3-week release, and start to get those selling again. And it almost seems like let's get all that 4080 stock cleared out. As these new cards get in and people look at reviews and everything else, get those cleared out for that 80 in 3 weeks. And I'm sure that they've been working on stock for that for a while. And that kind of just, is Nvidia keeps saying they're master of their supply chain. Um, that's just how it's going to go. So, I'm not going to I will not put any thoughts on what I think about these cards until I see the reviews. I don't, I want to see where they're kind of lined up, especially with AMD's and NVIDIA's drivers, see where they're all lining up right now. But, you're getting a little performance boost, right? The 4080 Super is a full die. Yeah, it's a full die. And it's all enabled, nothing kind of disabled on there. So you kind of get to see what that chip is going to be able to perform on and go from there. And hopefully AMD responds accordingly. And we'll see. AMD's been having these chips out for long enough. They should have their process down, their partners, and they should be able to have a good enough margin to keep that going, and give a little price cut to be competitive on price performance where it needs to be. So with that, let me know what your thoughts are on these super cards. What else have you liked at CES here? And I'm going to have quite a few more videos, hopefully. I don't know if quite a few, but a few more videos here on CES. I'm really excited about the monitor stuff. As much as hardware, I really enjoy hardware and looking about this, but these OLED monitors that they're coming out with are really kind of cool. I was reading, I think, about an Acer 57-inch. What is it? That's not OLED, but it's a 57-inch, and that seemed pretty interesting too. Like to be able to try that out. I think for coding it would be just awesome. But that is out there as well. There's LG, Samsung. I was reading MSI had some motherboards, Asus, and so there's a lot of that. I just want to do like maybe a little roundup or something talking about OLED because I like to get my hands on a new OLED or a OLED monitor, replace this 4K screen to an OLED 4K, and I think that would be a nice little upgrade for myself. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking time to help support Gray Loan and help this channel grow. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Nvidia Supercards in the comments below. And until next time, God bless.